What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. This video is going to be pretty different. I'm going to be focusing on these four verses that are going to help you get shredded, that are going to help you get fit, lose weight. And so if you guys do not know me, my name is Wakanda. My first name is Namdi. I run a fitness business or a fitness Instagram business on my Instagram. If you guys want to check out my Instagram, it'll be in the description below. It's where you're going to find all your tips, all your advice, everything that has to do with fitness and losing weight and gaining muscle included in there. Okay, so these four verses are going to help you get shredded, man. And I am going to tailor this to men, to males, because that's what I am more focused on. That's who I typically help is men. So this video is primarily going to be focused towards men. Doesn't mean that women cannot watch it. I'm just saying I'm going to be focusing and directing all of my energy and all of the words that I'm going to say towards gentlemen. Okay, first verse, 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. And what it states is, do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God, and that you are not your own? For you have been purchased at a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body. And so I made this verse. I made a cinematic video on it on my Instagram if you have not looked at it. And what I'm taking away from it is that your body was purchased at a price, right? And your body is one with Christ as well. And so wouldn't it make sense to put your body through strenuous activities such as lifting, running, sprinting, climbing, swimming, cycling, etc., to obtain a level of fitness in which that you'll be proud and satisfied with, also that you can glorify God? I don't believe, and this may be a controversial topic, that if you are unfit, if you are chubby, if you are fat, if you are all these different types of things, you're not enacting in this word. You're not living in this word, within this verse here, right? You cannot glorify God with a body that you are not proud of, right? And I'm not saying that I'm fat phobic. I'm not trying to explain or trying to articulate that whatsoever. I'm just saying that if you are in a position, right, physically, you have a body in which that you're not proud of, then this first verse is the first verse you should read. And it should give you the motivation needed to ensure that you would work hard every single day, or at least 3 to 4 times a week, to reach a body that you'll be proud of, and therefore being able to glorify God. Okay, so that's the first verse, 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. You can pause this video and read it for yourself, pray over it, do whatever you need. All right, we're going to move over to the next, which is 1 Corinthians 9, chapter 9, verse 27. And I'm going to flip to it real quick. I already have it marked over here. But the first verse, where is it? I thought I had it marked. I guess I did not have it marked. Oh, no, I do have it marked. No, I drive my body and train it, for fear that, after having preached to others, I myself should be disqualified. Now, when Paul wrote this, I'm trying to make it so that the interpretation is very simple to understand in a lens of fitness, right? In the lens of working out, of health, right? Because that's the message I'm trying to generate. So what Paul's trying to say here is that I drive my body and train it, okay? For fear that if I were to go and talk to others and preach to others to go and do the same for themselves, I may not be disqualified. You wouldn't ever buy personal training from a fat person, would you? Probably not. You would most likely buy personal training from someone that looks like me. Doesn't have to be me, but it's someone who looks like me, someone who has muscles, someone who's fit, someone who's healthy, etc. Because it's all about perception. You train every single day so that if you have friends, if you have a significant other, or if you have classmates or schoolmates or mentees, etc., who don't do what you do, they'll be far more likely to listen to you and what you have to say about working out, about fitness, about getting your going to the gym, waking up early, eating healthy, taking your supplements, etc. They'll be far more likely to trust what you say because you're ripped, because you're shredded, because you have muscles, right? And so Paul he hits the needle on the head here, and this can even stem to business settings as well. If I were conducting a meeting, or if I were conducting a negotiation or a deal with somebody, or if somebody were to do it with me, this is scientifically proven. This is something I've researched and searched up. If you want to research and search this up, you can. But those who are fit and those who have some sort of level of fitness attributed to them are more likely to make successful negotiations and successful deals versus people who are overweight, for people who do not take care of themselves. All right. And of course, that doesn't mean that those who are overweight and don't take care of themselves can make deals. Yes, but selling PT, I was able to sell more because I fit the part. You know what I'm saying? And it's all just about, of course, knowing, having the knowledge, having the wisdom, and all of that is just going to come with throughout the journey. All of that is just going to come from the more that you do, the more that you exercise, the more that you lift, the more that you run. All the knowledge and all the wisdom are going to couple up, and you'll be able to explain to people and articulate to people in the most simplest words possible, so that you can get your point across to them and that they can learn. Good verse. Now we're going to move over to Proverbs. All right. Now Proverbs chapter 23, verse 21. Do not join, Proverbs, verse 20 through 21, not 21. Do not join with winebibbers, nor with those who glut themselves on meat, for drunkards and gluttons come to poverty, and lazing about clothes one in rags. Okay, so this just shows, this practically just talks about, self-control. And if you control your self-control, if you have self-control in regard to what you eat, what you put in your mouth, how much you eat, etc., you are getting closer and closer to your dream self, to your dream body, to your dream fitness goals, etc. And this verse explains that do not join those who glut themselves on meat or who are wine bibbers, right? Because drunkards and gluttons come to poverty. Individuals who cannot control what they put in their mouth are individuals who are weak. They're weak. They come from a mental state of lack. They come from a mental state of poverty. And who knows? You could probably say, to argue, hey, they may have some sort of eating disorder, et cetera, et cetera. That is true, and those are common. Yes, eating disorders are very common, right? I'm not a doctor in any sort of means or anything such as that. And eating disorders can come from trauma or anything such as that. So I'm not really going to talk more on that. I'm just saying, if you're an individual who doesn't have an eating disorder, you just like to eat food and you can't control yourself, then you're a weak person. You don't have the mental control to regulate the amount of food that you put in your mouth, or the type of food to put in your mouth. And that is exactly why you look like that in the mirror. That is exactly why you think like that. That is exactly why you think lack, you think poverty, you think depression, you think anxiety, you think sadness, because you cannot control what you put in your mouth, right? And you've probably heard this before. You are what you eat. You are what you eat. What are you eating every single day? Yeah, and the thing is that for me, I don't eat clean all the time, okay? I probably eat healthy 80% of the time and eat unclean 20% of the time, right? But the unclean are not full meals of Whataburger, McDonald's, or whatever. It's small little snacks, like a small little Skinny Cow. If you guys are familiar with Skinny Cow, the 140 calorie ice cream sandwich. It's 140 calories. There's no sugar in it, and it's 4 grams of protein. Pretty crazy. Anyways, you are what you eat. And if you cannot control what you put in your mouth, then you cannot control on the things that you say, the things that you think, the things that you do, because there's no self-control on what you consume, right? And therefore, if you have no self-control of what you can consume, how are you supposed to think? How are you supposed to obtain the fact, the ideology, the idea that you could obtain a dream body, you could obtain a six-pack, you could get a 315 squat PR, 405 deadlift, 325 bench PR, right? You're expecting these things to happen when you can't even control your mouth. It doesn't make any sense. You have to think about that type of stuff. Reread this verse, pray over it. All right. Last verse, Romans chapter 12, verse 1. Okay. So Romans chapter 12, verse 1. Sacrifice of body and mind. I urge you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God, your spiritual worship. And this isn't included, but I'm going to read this too. I'm going to read verse 2 as well, because I have this highlighted. Do not conform yourselves to this age, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and pleasing and perfect. Now, I have made a video on the second verse, and so this is great that I'm revisiting this here. The fact is, right, sacrificing a body and mind, we die daily for Christ, right? And if we die daily for Christ, what does that mean? To me, it means you have to leave everything out of the tank. Everything in your work, everything in your relationships, everything in your fitness, everything in your schoolwork, everything with your relationships. You have to be able to leave everything out of the tank. Because when you go to bed, you renew yourself. Your body goes through some sort of process to renew all your operations, all your functionalities, so that you can wake up afresh. You can wake up anew, right? That's when you wake up in the morning, you feel refreshed. But when you go on your phone and doom scroll, after 30 minutes, you feel like crap. Okay. Your body flushes out all the toxins, all the bad things that it doesn't necessarily need, that you don't need for the next day. So you wake up practically as a new person. Okay. Offer your bodies as a living sacrifice. Would you offer your body as a living sacrifice if it was chubby or fat, or if it was a body of a lack of discipline, of a lack of consistency, of a lack of commitment? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't want to. Your body would be sacrificed if it's a temple, a body of strength, foundation, discipline, commitment, consistency, ambition. You know, and I may be interpreting this wrong, and that's completely fine. I'm still new in this journey, and I'm here trying to focus on things that I know, which is fitness, and trying to correlate it with the Bible so I can help you, men, whoever's watching this, get to your dream goals and to get to your dream body, et cetera, et cetera. And so to really close this off, how exactly or what exactly are you doing on a day-to-day basis to ensure that you get from point A to point B in your fitness, that you get from point A to point B in your fitness goals, in your body goals, and your lifting goals, etc.? What are you doing on a daily basis? And for those who are Christian, I'm Catholic. For those who are Christian, I decided to make this video because I want to attract you guys onto this channel. I want to attract you guys so that, we can all create a community. We can all come together and talk about, various scriptures, various verses, various chapters, and also talk about our lifts. I'll talk about our PRs, talk about if we're doing a marathon, half marathon, how much we've lifted today, how much I've gained weight for bulking, how much I've lost weight for cutting, all these different types of things, And so what exactly are you doing for yourself that showcases that the body that God has given you, right? The body that God has given you, you are lucky to have, because you're able to morph it. You're able to mold it into something anew. Able to mold it into something that you can be proud of, and you can thank God every day for the fact that He has given you this body, and that you can use this body to assist others. You can use this body to run fast. You can use this body to inspire and motivate others. Because, I'll be real, dude. I'm not fat phobic whatsoever, right? But I don't get motivated. I mean, I potentially could, so I cannot be fat. But if I see a severely obese person, like those people you see on TV, I get motivated to not be that. Nobody gets motivated to be that. But if you see Dwayne The Rock Johnson or Tom Holland or Chris Hemsworth or whatever, you see that they're all shredded, they're all huge, they have muscle. People inspire to be those guys. People have posters on their wall of them shirtless. Taylor Lautner, back when Twilight was huge, right? People were going crazy over his physique. Because people desire to at least have a guy like that if you're a woman, or to have a physique like that if you're a man. There's proof in the pudding, dude. So that is it for this video. Very new video. I really did like this. I enjoyed this. Read these verses, pray over them. I'll pray for you guys. But check out my Instagram. If you are needing assistance with your fitness in any way, shape, or form, check out my Instagram. I have a whole decade worth of training. I also have individuals who I work with who are very happy with the results, and with the program results, and with the transformation results. So if you do need help, if you do need assistance, if you have any other questions, DM me on Instagram. It'll be in the description below. I'll be waiting for your message. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.